My name is Lisa Barnes, and I am a member of Salem First Christian Church. I would like to start out by sharing my favorite scripture, which is from Psalm 37:4, which is, "Take delight in the Lord, and the Lord will give you the desires of your heart." So I like this scripture not because it promises that I'll get what I want or what I prefer, but rather I get what my heart truly desires before I even really know what my heart wants. I was a longtime member of the Churches of Christ, and I was baptized in the Churches of Christ, the Church of Christ. I went to a Church of Christ college. I spent 2 years in Kenya working with the Churches of Christ, and I was ordained and endorsed for chaplain's ministry in the Churches of Christ. The first time I visited Salem First Christian was sometime around 2012. And I came on an Easter Sunday to support a friend of mine who was being baptized here. And somehow it just felt really good to be in that space and to watch my friend be baptized. Sometime in 2013, I started working on Sundays. So I work as a chaplain at the Oregon State Hospital, and part of my responsibilities is to provide worship services. And they became basically my congregation. And because I was no longer involved with the Church of Christ that I had been attending, there developed this kind of distance. So I didn't have a home church. Eventually, I just kind of dissipated. My schedule changed, and I had some Sundays off. So I tried to go back and found that it really wasn't a good fit anymore. When I realized that wasn't working, I didn't go anywhere. I just have to say, I took some time off, and I didn't go anywhere on Sundays. And after a while, I started to feel this need to belong again to a community. What did I do? I started to do some church hopping. Salem First Christian was one of my, in and out churches. In 2017, I transferred my membership from the Churches of Christ to Salem First Christian, and I did that at the 9:30 service. And then I started to go do things with Salem First Christian. At some point, I went to a potluck picnic at Willamette Mission State Park, and I'll never forget Sherry Ridings. She was the one. It felt really good to have somebody to kind of hang around with, and she would invite me to sit with her at her table with her family, and it felt very warm and hospitable, and I really, to this day, am grateful that she had a hospitable spirit toward me. Soon after joining Salem First Christian, I asked Pastor Bob Hanna if First Christian would sponsor me in having a recognition of my ordination. And he hardly knew me, and he agreed. He introduced me to the board, and the board, they didn't know me, I didn't really know them, but they asked me questions, and they voted, and then the whole process got underway. Another thing that happened was somewhere along the way, Allison Puff, made sure I got a name tag, and here it is. In the fall of the same year that I joined, I just showed up at one of the Rosa Welch CWF Wednesday meetings, but it all turned out lovely, and I'm still a Rosa today. I could mention Noel Phillips too. He is a fellow chaplain, of course, since retired, but I first met Noel through the Association of Professional Chaplains, and I then got to know his wife, Myrna Phillips, and they are now the elders for the chaplains in this region for the disciples, and so through them I've become acquainted with other chaplains, which also makes me feel good because I didn't have that prior to coming to First Christian. In 2019, we celebrated my recognition of ordination at the 9:30 service, and of course all the Rosa women got balloons and got a cake, and it just felt very, again, warm and hospitable. That is my words for how I feel about this church. I decided last year that I was gonna start attending the 11 o'clock service, and Sandy invited me to the ambassador Sunday school class. And so I started going there at the end of last year. And again, let me just say, they were all welcoming, and I was right at home, like I belonged there. And so I do appreciate how they just kind of took me in and allowed me to become a part of their class. So let me go back to Psalm 37:4. In participating, becoming a member of this church, I really feel like the Lord, well, I don't feel like it. I know that the Lord has given me the desires of my heart. The Lord just knew what I needed and wanted and what my deepest desires are, and that's what I have in Salem First Christian. So in thinking about what keeps me here, it really is the warmth and the hospitality. But I just want to thank you for welcoming me into this church community. I just want to say that you're my kind of people.